is, if President Trump wins in the fall, which it looks like he will, I mean, will Joe Biden and the Democrats accept the results?
Well, as you know, though, in his answer repeatedly, there were caveats. And those types of caveats are what undermine people's faith in a free and fair democracy. Is he not undermining people's faith in the democracy and the democracy itself by raising questions about the fairness of the 2020 election, which, by the way, is on record as being one of the most fair elections in U.S. history?
I think this, I have to reject the whole premise, because just in the short lifetime, you don't have to be that old to know that in 2000, the Democrats challenged the election. They had every right to challenge it. It went down to one county, the Hanging Chads in Broward County in Florida. In 2016, yes, Hillary Clinton conceded the election, but then immediately after that began, what's still going on today, a smear campaign about whether the election results in 16 were legitimate. And so both parties have done this. As a country, if we want to move forward, we have to have elections that both parties agree to.
Governor, let me just push back for a moment, because therein lies the difference. Everyone has a right to challenge the election. Donald Trump challenged the election results. He had a right to do that. And yet Hillary Clinton and Al Gore conceded. Donald Trump has yet to concede. Is that not undemocratic, particularly for someone who's running to be the leader of this country and the free world again?
Donald Trump, at the end of his term on January 20th, left the White House. We had a smooth transition, and I think it's fair.
January 6th wasn't exactly a smooth transition, Governor.
Well, I think we have to say that there was a smooth transition, and everybody in both parties is going to challenge elections if they don't think they're fair. And we don't have one election in America. There's over 3,100 counties. And each of those counties sometimes have different rules. And in 2020, of course, with COVID, there was a myriad set of new rules and regulations that we had never seen before. And so, of course, I think going into 2024, I think both parties are going to be very focused on it. And I think this is the idea that this is the threat to democracy. As a governor in North Dakota today, I've been living under what I call the Biden dictatorship because of all the rules and regulations. Now, thank goodness for this Supreme Court that came out on Friday with the Chevron ruling, because maybe now we can put a stop to agencies actually creating laws that don't come from Congress.
Let me ask you about your comments about a dictatorship, and then I want to get back to this, because you say he's a dictator for passing all these rules and regulations. Biden's passed 139 executive orders. Trump had passed 169 at this point. And Governor, you as governor have passed 164. Does that make you the dictator of North Dakota?
I'm not trying to jam rules and regulations down on our state. Most of President Trump's executive orders were trying to get rid of red tape. Joe Biden's actually creating a bunch of new, effectively, laws that are affecting our country. And I want to go back to the debate. I want to go back to the top. You asked about the debate. Every channel this morning should be talking about what happened. This was the most consequential, historic debate in history, because we've never had a debate where immediately after it's over, this is like a Rocky knockout. I mean, they should build a statue to Donald Trump at Georgia Tech, because everyone's talking about, should Joe Biden even stay in the race? That's never happened in our history. It was such a dominant performance by President Trump in this debate.
It's also never happened in our history that someone has not actually accepted the election results, which is where this conversation began. So let me ask you.